I don't know about you, but to me, happiness is constantly fleeting, and I go from short spurts of excitement to longer trends of, well, sometimes sadness or just kind of boredom. Many of us deal with this in different ways. Some of us vape, some of us drink, some of us run, and some of us just don't deal with it, and we're perpetually affected by unhappiness.
And then little things that shouldn't bother us start manifesting into painful, frustrating experiences, and at the same time, you're just tired all the time looking for that next cup of joe.
Introducing the money cleanse. In order to fully understand the money cleanse, there are two simple concepts to understand: the law of contrast and the palate cleanse. Oh, and quick note, I'll be in San Francisco on November 16th for an in-person real estate investing crash course, a link below, and huge shout out to Mrs. Morrison, who wrote, "Oh my gosh, Kevin, the course is amazing, and I thought I read a lot, but this is just awesome stuff, exactly what I need." She, by the way, started with my real estate agent course, then went to the investing course, and was blown away despite being a real estate agent. So if you're interested at all in real estate investing, check out that course below, because it can take you from zero knowledge to a millionaire in real estate. And no, you don't have to be an agent, and you don't have to have any prior knowledge. You can join, go through the recorded lectures, and you can even join our twice weekly private live streams where I mentor you.
Let's talk about the law of contrast. Picture this: when you go to a restaurant, what do you usually get first? You usually start with bread that has a little bit of salt, maybe some salted butter, and that's it. It's pretty bland. But remember, you're going into that restaurant probably somewhat hungry, if not full-on hungry. You go in with zero food. So you go from a level of zero food to a level of having food. This increases your happiness because of the law of contrast. You go from nothing to having something. That's contrastful, and that's helpful. Why is it then that you get your main course, and what happens then? Even though you're not as hungry, that main course is so much more delicious than the basic free or super cheap bread you got. They're like, oh my gosh! In contrast, you're so much happier again because you got a delicious main course meal. And now, of course, there's only one thing that can usually top that off, and that's sugary, buttery desserts. And there you go. That's why dessert generally comes last.
It's like having a bitter Trenta iced coffee with no ice, followed by an orange creamsicle smoothie.
Much better. See, the contrast rule works really well. It's kind of like having white baseboards and gray walls. It looks a lot better than having all white walls. Usually, at least. But then where then does the palate cleanser come in? Now, no, I'm not talking about that feeling of eating a little bit of ginger when you're eating sushi to cleanse your mouth palate of that spicy wasabi taste and salty soy sauce. No, instead, what I'm talking about is palate cleansing your life. That is, maybe take 2 or 3 days off, abruptly put in your notice, take time off work, and just do the opposite of everything that you do in life. You wake up early, wake up late. You go to sleep late, go to sleep early. And literally give yourself those 2 to 3 days to just reflect and plan. You've been putting off getting real ID with the DMV? Do it during this time. You want to clean up the garage or do some household cleaning, or you want to go donate some stuff? This is the perfect time to do that as well. Basically, what you want to do during this sort of life palate cleanse is nothing normal. You could catch up on crap you need to catch up on, but it needs to be mindless. And guess what? When you do mindless things that you need to get done anyway, or maybe you go for a walk or a run if you're into that, you start getting a little bit creative about planning for your life. In fact, a perfect example of this is if you've been feeling a little bit too addicted to Instagram or social media, take a break from it from 2 or 3 days and walk around with a notepad. Jot down all of the other possible options in your life. For example, maybe you want to quit that job. Maybe you want to re-enroll in college. Maybe you want to take that vacation you've been meaning to take forever. Or you want to do something special for a significant other. Now for me, since I'm a real estate investor, something that is, or at least feels pretty mindless for me, and it's exactly what I teach in the real estate investing course, linked below, and teach you how to prep, is I don't mind coming to the jobs where we're working on and I try to clean up, try to remove some trash where trash was left Or I'll do basic things, and this might sound silly, but hey, every minute of time I can save with a handyman or an electrician or a plumber is money in my pocket. So I might take this little bed bath lock set, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set it right next to the door where it belongs. See, I've already done that. Over here, this is going into the tub shower set tomorrow, and the electricians need to put in my favorite boob light and an exhaust fan. You'll notice I did the same thing over here at the vanity. Faucets right here, drains right here, medicine cabinets on the floor. Oh, and quick pro tip, if you ever see nasty old rusty basic screws like this lying around, I usually recommend throwing them away. Or take them and put them all into one kitchen drawer so that way they don't fall on the floor and start scratching stuff. It's little mindless stuff like that where I start really thinking, like, okay, cool, what am I gonna do next? What's next in my life? Because it doesn't take any energy to think about this stuff.
Now look, there's a ton of neuroscience research on this that basically says humans are really good at habituating. They get really good at getting used to something. And so changing your environment can be really useful because it gives you that change, but there's also a danger. See, let's say you change your environment, but then you just sit down and do nothing. You basically, instead of creating a thinkcation, create a staycation. And guess what? You habituate yourself to doing nothing and you get nothing done. Then you look back at this time as being super unproductive and you literally change nothing. So you have to find a way to be really productive during this time. Maybe it does mean completely clearing your checklist or using a new one for the time being, opening up your phone, having no mail, using a pencil to write on a notepad what your plans are. But as long as you're active in having a clear mind and being productive and thinking of ideas, you won't fall into the danger of doing nothing because you'll constantly be thinking about the contrast law. Just think as a quick example, I was walking and then I was lying down on the grass, now I'm running. All of these changes make me think and feel different, even though it's just in the micro right now. Try this for 4 or 5 days, maybe not this hyper and crazy, but start your think different and you'll start seeing some changes. In fact, do you know what that Apple slogan actually means and why it's not think differently like you would expect grammatically it should be? It's because they mean two entirely different things. To think differently means to change the way that you think, which means you're the problem. However, Apple was genius and realized, no, it's not the Apple employees who are the problem. It's what they're thinking about that's the problem. That's why the slogan is think different, not think differently. Ask yourself, why do campuses at Salesforce, LinkedIn, and Google now have beanbags and ping pong tables and indoor gyms and daycares and all of the things that were never thought about before in a cubicle-style office environment? Now you have open workspaces and open concept plans for thinking. It's because the entire tech industry is based around think different. Take that time off. Do something different. Here's a thought for you. Have you ever heard of Gmail or Google AdSense? That's when creators get paid for ads that run on YouTube videos. Ever seen one of those? Yeah, those ideas came from Google's 20% time, which was rather than spending all of your time solely thinking about your main job, you take 20% of your time and you dedicate it to side projects so you can think different. And so if you're looking for a selfish reason to decorate for Halloween, think to yourself, wow, if you change your environment, you decorate for the seasons and you're constantly creating change, guess what usually follows? Productivity, creativity, success, wealth. Now to finally put the nail in the coffin into anybody's idea who thinks this isn't possible, ask yourself this. Grandma and grandpa, how much are they usually changing in your life? And then ask yourself, how much different success and wealth are they having when they've stagnated and they stop trying different things? When they become resistant to change, what usually happens? Then compare them to that really active person you know in your life who's always trying something new and different. Then decide if thinking different is right for you.